What's up everyone? It's been a while since we hopped into the Road to NBA 2K22 series on the PlayStation 5, but that's exactly what we'll be doing today. So welcome to episode 85, only 5 weeks out from the All-Star weekend here in season 6, and we will be recapping these last 5 weeks today before our break. So last episode, it was a while back, so I'll jog your memory. Despite the success of the Knicks this season, we've dealt with a lot of drama all season long, and that continued last episode, starting with Donovan, who was dealt a broken nose underneath the rim last episode. Donnie's played through a number of injuries in his career, but since he'll be very likely to return by All-Star weekend, he's going to sit this one out. That on top of Mitchell Drew, who's already been out for the last couple weeks with a foot fracture. He's been one of the better bench players for us all season, so that's another tough loss, and he's going to return by the end of the episode as well, but we'll be still without my college teammates, so that'll leave it up to me and Faran to lead an unproven Knicks team in the heat of this Eastern Conference playoff race, which, I mean, hey, we're only halfway through the season and it's already heating up. And we also have a struggling Cade Cunningham to deal with as well. I had to sit down with Cade last episode. He told me the reason for his struggles was due in fact to the part of that he's tired of living in the Big Three's shadow and wants to build his own legacy by playing his true position, point guard. We'll see if Cade wants to suck it up to win games or if he'll be traded, because the further we get along in this season, the more we hear Cade express his thoughts not only to me or Faran, but to the fans and the media, and we cannot afford distractions like that at the halfway point in the season. I mean, you see his stats month by month, they've just tapered off, and you can tell he's just not the same player anymore. So with that in mind, we are going to head on the road to Atlanta to take on Trae Young, who is top 6 in both points and assists. He will be my matchup for the night. And it's pretty crazy to think that we're only halfway through this season. I believe this is our 43rd game, I want to say. We're only halfway through the schedule, and it already feels like every game is a must-win, especially against a team like Atlanta. Right behind us in the standings, we're 3rd, Atlanta's 4th, and we lead them by 3.5 games as we hop into this road game in ATL. So let's get it popping, everybody. It's good to be back. The starting 5 will be me, Faran, Eric Paschal, the Rascal, Cade Cunningham, and Obi Toppin, as the first assist of episode 85 will be a swing pass to Paschal, the Rascal, as I beat Trae Young off of a pick and roll. And we're off to already a pretty decent start. Let's see what Cade Cunningham has to offer as he tries to turn it around in the last month of action. He's only averaging 8 points, but a nice read there out to Faran for a triple. All right, and a quick 8-2 run to get things going. Donovan watching from the sideline. We got to try to weather the storm without someone who could be a all-star game starter, which I don't think any of my friends, including myself, have ever been in this series. But then I turned it over on the next possession. Cam Reddish, coast to coast, and a bit of a bone-headed foul by Cade Cunningham, but I can't blame him for that. That's on me. So we're going to jump to the second half, and perhaps with a shorthanded lineup, our bench kind of letting up the lead a little bit here. I come back in, we're down by 8, and the bench has definitely been a strength of us this season, but in the first game with a pretty underhanded Knicks lineup, obviously that's not the greatest first start, but I try to get things going here, taking it away from John Collins. I will then get blocked, but then Faran has my back. Pump fake draws 2 defenders, and that means I will have a warm-up jumper available for me at the elbow to put in points 7 and 8. With 4 assists on the night so far. Timeout ATL. Let's see if we can get something cooking here. If the bench can't help us out, then we got to go on a run here with our starting 5 out on the floor. Cade Cunningham sets a screen for Toppin, and then Obi will set one for me as he pops out. He's been great from 3 all season, but Onyeka Okongwu closes out, so I have to hurry here at the end of a shot clock as I flick it up, and it will swish through the rim. There's points 9 and 10, 4 of 7 shooting. Then I'll make back-to-back buckets to get me up to 12. And this one is taken away. They were trying to find Trae Young in the corner, but thanks to Faran, we got a run-out opportunity. And Eric Paschal, the Rascal, will take the lead as the Hawks will call timeout. And the New York Knicks are enjoying a pretty nice run here as we enter the halftime period. Up by 2, the bench this time holds the fort down. We'll see how it goes here in the second half of action, competing with a very strong Atlanta team. It's been a really impressive first half for me personally. I have 12 points with 6 assists. Looking back door to Cade, but he has this one blocked. It was a nice feed inside, but hey, at least Obi Toppin, who's been playing really well tonight, at least he has his back. But Cade Cunningham really struggling tonight as well, as Atlanta takes a 3-point lead. And let's see, I got DeAndre Hunter on me. We'll see if I can blow past him. I get a step. Nice little scoop pass inside to Obi, who continues to enjoy a hot third quarter to get us back within 1. So that's assist number 8 for me on the night, guarding Trae Young near the timeline, and I've been dealing with these screens all night long, looking for John Collins as Trae Young lobs one up to the athletic freak out of Wake Forest. So obviously it's been a lot of tough possessions on defense for me. I'm doing my best on Trae Young. He enters the fourth quarter with, I believe, 19. So he's had his, but I've been doing as best as I can on a nice job. Pascal the Rascal cutting back door as the double team comes to me, and Kevin Huerter's got to rotate down, but he didn't. So a blown assignment there. Well, I'm glad to see the offense playing well. It's now a test of defense. If we can get some stops. Cade Cunningham not doing us any favors. 1 for 8 shooting as he struggles again. Good closeout here on Trae Young. Barely hits the rim. And Faran, look at this. I give him a little backdoor feed. I think he's going to throw it to me, but he throws it up top to Toppin. Okay. Faran. I thought he was going to hit me here on the cut, but right when I saw him put so much touch on that pass, I'm like, oh no, here comes Obi. And Obi, my teammate, dunks on me. A pretty funny play there, but 2 points is 2 points. I'll take it. But in other news though, ATL starting to have a really impressive fourth quarter shooting here. I'm trying to fight around a screen. Trae Young all the way, double clutching his way to 2 more points. ATL now takes a double-digit lead over us, and it's about halfway through the fourth quarter. This one's rotated over to Trae. It's a little dribble handoff, and tell me how I'm about to fight over all these screens. Cade Cunningham gets caught ball watching. It doesn't help me out at all, as his man Huerter was the one setting the main screen that tripped me up. And near the end of the game, down the stretch, it was all Atlanta to close this one out. 119-100. It looked good for about 3.5 quarters, but ultimately the depth of the Hawks shine through as we are once again fighting to compete without a decent amount of our core. Obi Toppin 22-4. This might have been the best game he's played all season. 20-12 for me, 9 for 14 shooting. One of my personal favorite performances. Obviously, I don't like that we didn't win, so not gonna remember this game too fondly. Faran with 18, 6 and 2, a couple threes in there. Quentin Grimes had a great game off the bench. Eric Pascal was pretty serviceable tonight in the shoes of Donovan with 10 and 4, but Cade Cunningham 2, 7 and 5. Well, we're going to see how we do without Mitchell Drew and Donovan Gray for the next week or so. So, hopping into simulating, we then lose an overtime game against the Hornets after Faran's up and down performance against the Hawks. He then puts up 38, but this time it's me not having his back. I only shot 3 for 10. My bad, Faran. Maybe if I made 1 or 2 more shots, we would not have went into overtime, and we take an L here to Charlotte, who's not in the playoff race. Then we lose to the Timberwolves, who do have a very solid team here in 2K. 25 for me and Pascal. And then Faran only plays 6 minutes. We're going to get to him in a second. But Cade Cunningham 1 for 5. Invisible once again in a game that we really needed him just to do something, with Faran making an early exit. We're going to find out very soon what that's about. And it would be an injury. He would not play in this New Orleans game. But guess what? I would put the team on my back. I'm so happy I don't have to travel to New Orleans to play in a game. A career high 37 points and a near career high in assists with 18. This was my all-time best performance of my career, 124-103. With me and us losing 3 starters, we take down the Pelicans at home in a beautiful revenge game for myself. So Faran would only miss 1 game with that ankle tweak. He'd come back and deliver a very good performance. Great passing for Faran as we take down the Clippers in double overtime in a much needed win to make it back-to-back wins. Kawhi with 29 and 10. And then we close out the stretch with no Donovan or Mitchell Drew with a 95-88 win over the Cavs. So hopefully order has been restored here. Me, Faran, Cade, Donovan, and Obi. We are all back in the lineup along with Mitchell Drew. Feels great to finally have the whole team back. And I'll tell you what, man, it's a perfect time for everyone to be back, and I'll tell you why. I'm sure you guys remember in the conference finals a season ago, my first season as a New York Knick, it ended in heartbreak. This is a huge game for me and Faran because we're trying to get revenge against the Miami Heat, a team that knocked us off in the conference finals a season ago. We were down 2-0. Faran and I put the team on our back to knot things up at 2 games apiece. And in the winner go home game 5 in Miami, we were up by double digits entering the 4th, and we ended up blowing the game. And we lost, and then Miami would end up losing the finals to Dallas and Deshaun. So this is a game that I want to try to get some revenge in. Our first meeting with Miami this season after the heartbreaking loss in the conference finals, and they're not going to have Jimmy Butler tonight. Number 1 defense in the NBA, but he's a big reason for it. And it's pretty funny since Jimmy Butler didn't play a lot of the series last year. He was either out or playing hurt, so it'll be more of the same this time around as Faran gets after it on our first defensive possession, forcing Josh Hart into a backcourt violation and a turnover. Obviously, Josh Hart, how can I forget about him? He is now the small forward, and he was my former teammate. And some bad blood between me and him after Miami beat us, the Pelicans, in the finals my last season in New Orleans, and then Josh Hart decided to sign with the Heat. That was absolutely ridiculous, as then he gets burned on the next possession. It's Cade Cunningham throwing one down, mean. All right, how about this start for the New York Knicks, and of course some new players for the Heat. The Kyle Lowry trade was also made in the virtual NBA 2, so he is the new point guard instead of Goran Dragic, who is now in the 6. But Cade Cunningham spotting up, knocking down the first 5 points for the Knicks today. Josh Hart closed out, then on by Cade Cunningham. So a great defensive possession there. Donovan grabbed the rebound, so hey, it's his return to the lineup. So let me see if I can try to find him on this play. Toppin sets me a screen, little flick pass over to Donovan, and look at Kyle Lowry leaving him wide open. He was playing the drive, but Donovan can shoot it as well as anybody. So Donovan playing the power forward position. He's back in the lineup, but then Cade Cunningham off the mark there. It's Josh Hart pounding the rock, and I play this pass. I knew that was coming. And then look at this on the other way. Over the head pass, threading a needle inside to Faran. Little hop jumper, as now he gets on the board as well. He's in on the offensive fun. I played 3 years with Josh Hart. I know his tendencies. I saw this one coming. I feel like that was the reason why I was able to pick that one off. And then somehow, man, I was able to get a little luck on my side. I love that sequence right there. Nicely done, Faran topping off the break. So now we see Max Strus to the line. Miami retakes the lead. I'll step to the sideline for a little bit, coming back in at the beginning of the second quarter. And we are down by 8 to the defending Eastern Conference champions. And that would ultimately swell to 13. So Miami at their biggest lead of the game. We'll see what Cade Cunningham has here up his sleeve. It's another rough start for him, but hey, he makes a nice read there. And that was an awesome little 2-man game between Cade and Donovan to cut it back down to 10. So Cade Cunningham with 8 points and now 2 assists. He had one in the first quarter as well. And I'm still without a basket though. We'll see if I can get one here on the next possession. Faran taking it away from Brandon Ingram, and then he will finish it off on the other way. I mean, hey, I'm just trying to stay unselfish. Me and Faran linking up there. My shots will come when they do. I've now made 2 free throws, but I haven't made a field goal yet. I'm popping off a screen wide open, but the extra pass, once again, my passing has been superb today here in the first half, setting up all my teammates, everyone in the starting 5 cooperating perfectly. We've got it back down to a 2-point game, 41-39. Nice little run here. It's 8 unanswered points for the Knicks. Perfectly closed out on was the Kyle Lowry drive. He hits the deck, and I'm leading the break on the other end. Nice extra pass for Faran, returning the favor. Gotta love it, man. The team play here in the first half has been awesome, serving them up on every possession, everyone playing as a team, forcing a lot of turnovers as well. And I'll step to the sideline for the rest of the first half, down by 6, but I do like the way we ended the half, so I'm not sweating it too much. And as we step inside the locker room, and there's 2 key stats I want to show you guys. Boban's actually our leading scorer, and Faran, or rather Donovan, in his first game back with 9 and 7, but those are not the stats I want to show you. You've got 6 and 6, solid first half, but I got 4 fouls. I am holding Kyle Lowry down so far here in the first half of action, but I am, he has shot a couple free throws, and I've tried to help on other guys too, including Max Strus, who shot 7 free throws on his way to 19 first half points. Just the other day, he was playing in the Summer League trying to earn a spot on an NBA roster, and now he's the leading catalyst in our demise so far through the first half of action. So now down by 7. This one will go inside to Brandon Ingram, and if there's somebody who's been struggling today, it has been Ingram himself. Donovan forces a stop, bounce pass inside to Cade. As I continue to try to get him going, I do not want him to get down on himself. I don't want him to get dejected, so anytime I can set him up for a scoring opportunity like that, I'll sacrifice my own scoring if it means getting him a bucket. So now I'll dump this one inside to Donovan. Brandon Ingram's just too skinny, man. He cannot hold the freight train that is Donovan. 6'7", 245 compared to 6'10". What is Ingram, like 220? 215. I mean, there's just no stopping Donovan down low. So this one will go over to Toppin. This one will make it 11 assists. Toppin's trademark 3 has become just the catch and fire when the defense isn't expecting it. And we've come all the way back to cut it to 1 as I check out for the rest of the third quarter. And coming back in the final period of action, it'll be 79-75, playing from behind once again here in the fourth. But ultimately, I do feel good because we've closed the second half and third quarter on high notes. And we'll see if we can keep the tempo pushing. Faran forces another steal. This one's a chase down for Bam, but it's all good. Toppin saves the possession, and we'll see what we can create out of our second opportunity. So I got the steal. Let's see if we can make something out of nothing. I'll take the 3 instead of the 2. Faran coming up big, cutting the lead in half. That's what I'm talking about. It's now a 1-point game. As Donovan checks back in, he wants to set up a play for Cade. And all the way, here comes the young gun for the lead. Nicely done there. Donovan with those broad shoulders, he can really taper off anybody who's trying to defend us on the perimeter. Tyler Hero is actually the main guy for the Heat here in the fourth quarter. He's got 10 out of his 13 here in the fourth. Donovan setting another screen. He's hot on pretty much both sides of the floor, which may be the main reason why Cade Cunningham had all the room in the world to operate and cock that thing way back. Cade Cunningham, this might be the best game we've seen from him since the first month of the season. And it's coming in a perfect time. 95-93, Knicks out in front with the lead and the possession. I'm wide open. And look at this. I try to make the extra pass, but Tyler Hero's been everywhere here in the fourth. And unfortunately, me and Toppin both cover the back door, which was Bam Adebayo, and that leaves Tyler Hero with nobody to close out on him. So 96-95. This game is starting to get pretty damn good here down the stretch, you can't lie, as we approach 3 minutes left to go. And how about the response for Obi Toppin? He just doesn't miss when he flicks it up like that, man. It's always when the defense doesn't expect it. When they sag off him a little bit, that's whenever he lets it fly. I love it. Obi Toppin with those deceptive threes, keeping us in the ball game. And we're up by 4 until Josh Hart is left open by Cade. I can't blame Cade on that one. Josh Hart is not hit on very many shots so far today, but it doesn't help us on the scoreboard, obviously. So 199, down by 1, looking for a stop. And this looks like a pretty good defensive possession for us as Thaddeus Young checks in, as Brandon Ingram's been struggling all game. So Thad Young will be the primary ball handler on this possession, kicking it out to Kyle Lowry, over to Josh Hart, and he's fouled on the 3-point attempt by Donovan. Oh my goodness, it didn't even look like there was much contact there. And how does Donovan even create, that mistake there at this stage in the ball game, man? He's too smart for that. So Josh Hart knocks down both of the first 2 free throws. The third one will rim out, and this one's ripped down. A frustration rebound for Donovan. As here comes Faran, he rushes it a little bit there. I don't like that shot. Had nobody back to rebound except for me, and I'm not grabbing that over 4 Miami Heat players. So now Tyler Hero from the elbow wants to test his luck against Donovan. That's not going to work out too well for him. Another board by Donnie G. Outlet to me. I'm open for a 3. Throwing up the pump. Taking it all the way for 2 more points. There goes the double-double on the game. 10 points, 14 assists. But in more important news, we have the lead with 45 seconds left as they close out on Kyle Lowry here. He continues to struggle all game. Now 3 for 9 from the floor. And we now have the lead and the possession, looking very good for the Knicks here. A little handoff to Faran. He's got Lowry on him. As we try to set up a curl screen for Cade Cunningham, he's done an awesome job as a pick and roll ball handler here in the fourth quarter. He's trying to continue with that trend, but the layup is off. Not the greatest look. He had top, and if he just dumped it down. This one will rotate inside to Thad Young. 13 seconds left to shoot. I bait Hero into the pass, but I can't pick it off. And it's Kyle Lowry for three. Oh no, what a mistake there. Oh man, we have turned the Miami Heat over time and time again this game, and I try to do it again, but I just did not get my hand on the pass. And Kyle Lowry's been a non-factor all game. I thought if I just left him one step, if I could get the steal, I could at least close out on him, and I did. But 8 seconds left to shoot now, left in the ball game. We're down by 2, and it's gonna be me V-cutting to the ball. 8 seconds left to shoot. It's gonna be Obi Toppin setting me a screen. I've got a lane. It's Thad Young sending my shot into the third row. Now we only have 3 seconds to go, and I had Donovan there on the perimeter. I should have just kicked it out. Made so many great passes tonight, but I couldn't throw the most important one. But it's all good. We got one more chance. Setting a nice screen for Faran. He's open, but for Obi doesn't throw him the ball. Instead, he throws it to me, and it's picked off by Kyle Lowry. I cannot believe we just choked this game away. Oh my goodness. We really just blew this game. The rematch to Miami, and we couldn't come through. Kyle Lowry with 2 free throws to put the nail in the coffin. Oh my goodness. We had Donovan fouling Josh Hart, which that didn't even look like a foul to me. I know I'm biased, but come on. You can't call that in that stage in the ballgame. You had me not getting the steal somehow, even though I timed the steal perfectly, and Kyle Lowry finally making a shot there at the end of the game. And then Obi Toppin missing Faran on the three-pointer off the inbound, and then me getting blocked as well on the first chance for us to take the lead there with 8 seconds left. 4 plays, and maybe if just one of them go our way, we would have beat the Heat tonight, but we just fell short. And the revenge game is going to have to be put on hold until the next time we see Miami. So Cade Cunningham actually led us in scoring. He was a little inefficient, but by his standards, 8 for 21, still a pretty decent game. I had 10 and 14. Donovan had a good return to action, and he also held Brandon Ingram to a horrible shooting percentage, but overall it wouldn't matter. So we then score a win over the Milwaukee Bucks, who are a playoff team, but I believe they're only 6th in the East right now, so a bit of a disappointing season for them after they lost in the first round last season. And then a high ankle sprain for Cade. We did not come out completely unscathed in this Milwaukee Bucks victory. Cade Cunningham, within the first minute of the game and one of the first few possessions, would sustain a pretty severe ankle injury, and he may or may not return by the trade deadline, which is the 12th of February, and that's coming up. So we'll see what happens with Cade Cunningham, because if he doesn't return to action before the trade deadline, then we're basically stuck with him, because who knows what's going to happen with Cade, where his mind's at right now. And it's pretty obvious that even though he doesn't want to outright say it, it seems like he wants to change in scenery. So without Cade, it's going to be me, Faran. Donovan moves to the 3, which is pretty interesting. I think he's well equipped to do it, excuse me. And then Obi Toppin and Boban Marjanovic, Big Bobby, coming in and playing the 5. Gotta love to see it. Eric Paschal, the rascal, good energy guy to come off the bench as he moves back to the bench. And without Cade Cunningham, you'd be surprised how much success we had. We end up beating the Kings by 20, and then a fourth quarter comeback would help us deliver a nice win over Memphis, 108-107. Good game for Faran with 24, leading all players. And then Aaron Cayley with 14, 4, and 5. I've been really impressed with his breakout season after he got that big contract. He's done nothing but improve his game. My former college teammate, great to see him doing well in Memphis at least. Hopefully they'll make the playoffs. So then we see the Lakers 98-81. We take a win over them, who are in shambles after LeBron retired. And then back-to-back wins against 2 quality opponents, Utah and Denver. And we see Donnie G 26 and 16, and then double-doubles for actually the entire Big 3. Big 3 with all double-doubles and a big win over the Jazz, and then a 12-point victory over the Denver Nuggets, 21 for me and Donovan. Hopefully all these performances will help us finally make the All-Star game. We're going to find out next episode if we did just that. But look at Cade Cunningham. He's only been out for 3 weeks, and he's already back in the lineup. This was very interesting. He was out for 6 to 8 weeks projected, but within 2 to 3, he's back to the lineup. Well, not exactly. We're going to have to scroll down to finally see where Cade will be inserted back in the lineup. And that's a trick question because he's not. He still has an injury sign next to his name, but not for the reason that you would think. Current injury, personal reasons. Cade Cunningham has announced that he will be sitting out for the rest of the season. That is, if we don't trade him before February 12th, which is the trade deadline. And that's also the same night that we're playing the Trailblazers to end off this episode. So if the Knicks can't move Cunningham before the deadline, we're not going to see him for the rest of this season. So, I mean, hey, this is a pretty interesting turn of events that is coming to light here at the end of the episode. But for now, we got to focus on Donovan's return to the Trailblazers in the Moda Center. So, pretty interesting we see here. You may expect that the Blazers may not have a lot to cheer for with the exit of Lillard and Donovan, but that's not entirely true. CJ McCollum is now taking over Lillard's volume from 3 and from the field, and he has shined. One of the best scorers in the league this season. We're probably going to see McCollum make his first All-Star game as we head out to Portland to finish off this episode.
Eric Pascal, number 20. Number 1.
So how about a standing ovation from this crowd to Donnie G while his name was called? Man, that's a very special moment. I knew right away I wanted to get Donnie the first basket of the game for the Knicks. My controller might have died, but that's not going to stop Donovan. Don't worry about it. I still get the assist. He still gets the bucket as he takes a dribble in and knocks down a shot over Tony Snell. So a good start from Donovan, and it was pretty early on that you knew it was going to be his night. Not only do I get an assist to Donovan, but on the next possession I will find my own scoring opportunity. And then how about, we get Donovan, or rather Faran, into the mix. We've got 2/3 of the big three that have scored so far. Let's make it 3 out of 3. Pick from top end. Help side comes from CJ, little touch pass, and that is a warm-up jump shot from Faran. So all the big three, they are getting it done here in the first quarter, and we kind of not, we didn't look back from there. It was a pretty wire-to-wire game tonight in Donovan's return, and boy, was it all about Donovan. A little pick and pop between me and my good buddy, and yeah, I mean, it was pretty crazy to see. I wasn't sure how the Moda Center would treat Donovan in his first game back in Portland. Obviously, he gave this team so much over the years. He was underrated while he was on this team, as I set him up here again. But there was plenty of times where Donovan was definitely let out in the dark at the end of some games that we sat in and watched, and I feel like he didn't have enough touches ever here in Portland, and he's really hitting his stride as a player here in New York. But obviously these fans love him. He gave them their all. He played hurt a lot, actually, more than you would have thought. Didn't miss much time with Portland, and he's beginning this first half with 18 points and 8 rebounds already in only a handful of minutes. And we're only going to show one highlight here in the second half. Who else but Donovan collects the rebound up ahead to me. And look at this hop step move, kicking it back out to Donnie G, who flicks it up and in. And yeah, it was from that moment on where us New York Knicks really took control. And like I said from the tip, it was wire to wire. Wearing some throwback uniforms tonight, but we're playing a very modern style of basketball. As you see the power forward on our team knocking down a 3 and leading us in scoring tonight with a huge win. But Donovan was not the only player who had a good night, but however, he would be the player of the game with the narrative of him coming back. A lot of pressure on him tonight, and he came through. 28 points, 18 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 blocks en route to another fabulous game from Donovan. He's been doing it all year, but guys like myself and Faran should not be underlooked too. I mean, check out Faran. I mean, CJ McCollum's having a breakout year, and he held him to 7 of 24 shooting while putting up 27 on his own accord. And for myself, not the most involved offensive game for me. I had 10 and 11, only taking a couple shots, but still, we rode Donovan and Faran to a huge win. And we'd have 2 more games before the All-Star break, and we'd split, as it would be a win against OKC. Emmanuel quickly leading the team with 28. Love to see it. 15, 4, and 10 for myself. And then the next game would be a loss to Brooklyn. I was thinking about playing this game instead of Portland, but I wanted to see Donovan and his return up in the Northwest. And at the same token, we still play Brooklyn 2 more times before season's end, so we'll have plenty more chances to see the Nets. And as for Cade Cunningham, we're going to find out next episode if he was dealt on the trade deadline the same day that we played Portland, or if he's still going to just sit out, and maybe we could try to sway his opinion to hop back into the lineup. We'll see. We're also going to find out if me, Donovan, Faran, and Deshaun all made our 3rd consecutive All-Star game where all 4 of us are participants. It took me a little bit longer than the rest of the guys. I was a bit of a late bloomer, obviously, in my career. So it took me a little bit longer to make my first All-Star game, but this season would make it 3 consecutive where all 4 of us play. And that on top of the fact that we're going to see Cade, see where he got traded, and I actually have to mark out a name here on this final screen because yes, Cade was traded. Just a matter of to who and who do we get in return. That's all what we're going to find out next time around. So I'm excited to show you guys who our new player is. But before we do that, it's going to be All-Star Weekend next time you see me. So I appreciate you guys tuning in today. This will be the end of episode 85 of the Road to NBA 2K22. Appreciate you guys stopping by today, and I hope you guys have a great night. Peace, everybody.